Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum. I hope you all are well. You're watching my YouTube channel BCP Synergy. It's lecture number 2 for the chapter Cell and Subcellular Organelles. In the last lecture, we have studied about the introduction of biology and cell as the basic unit of life. And in today's lecture, we will study what is cell theory. Before we dive into the topic, we must know what is theory. So theory is a well-substantiated explanation of natural phenomena based on evidences, observations, and experiments. Well-substantiated explanation means well-detailed or well-reliable explanation of any natural phenomena which is written or which is proposed after the observation and evidences are collected for a natural phenomena, the experiment is done, and finally an explanation with logical reasoning is given. That is called theory. Such sort of theory, that is cell theory, we will study today. Cell theory is the fundamental concept of biology, and it was formulated by two German scientists, Schleiden and Schwann. Schleiden was a German botanist while Schwann was a German zoologist. There were four people who worked and contributed for cell theory to their utmost. There were Robert Hooke, he contributed to cell theory in 1665. Rodolphe Virchow, he contributed for cell theory in 1885. Schleiden, he contributed to the cell theory in 1938, while Schwann contributed for cell theory in 1939. There's a brief summary about what these scientists have done for cell theory, for the formulation of cell theory. So Robert Hooke, in 1665, he saw the cells of cork for the first time. Cork is something that is made from cork tree. He called the spaces with walls around them as cell. Where were these spaces with walls around them? Inside the cork. And he observed the inside of the cork for the first time. Rodolphe Virchow, in 1885, he observed that pre-existing cells divide and then they form the new cells. Then Schleiden in 1938 concluded that cell is the ultimate unit of plant, while Schwann in 1939 concluded that cell is the ultimate unit of animals. Then Robert Hooke in 1665. Now, what is the detail behind his contribution? So he observed thin pieces of cork under a simple microscope. What he observed inside cork? So cork was made up of tiny empty spaces with walls around them. Cork look like honeycomb. What is honeycomb? Honeycomb are the small connected sections. Honeycomb is something that is made by honeybees. And then he called spaces in cork as cells. What honeycomb reminded him of small rooms in a monastery, and that is why he named those spaces inside the cork as cells. Now, what is a monastery? It's a religious place where there are small connected rooms and they are divided from each other by their walls, and those small rooms were called as cells. And keeping that thing in mind, Robert Hooke for the first time named the spaces inside the cork which he observed as cells. This is the picture of the cells of cork. This is another picture. Then these are basically the corks that are made from cork tree, of which he cut off the thin piece and observed it under the simple microscope. These are the trees of cork. Okay, so what Hooke really saw was the thick outside wall of cork, and cork was once the part of cork tree. Then comes Rodolphe Virchow. In 1885, he examined cancerous cells and noticed how cells multiplied. So he observed the cell division, that there are already some cells that are existing, they divided and formed the new cells. So according to his observation, the idea he published in 1885 in the form of principle challenged earlier theories that suggest that cells could spontaneously generate, like they can generate at their own without any division. So he challenged those earlier theories that cells divide and form the new cells. Then his principle was omnis cellulae cellula. It's Latin language, and in English it means that every cell arises from another cell. Schleiden, he was a German botanist. He examined large variety of plant cells of some kinds or others, and in 1938 he concluded that cells are the ultimate unit that are forming the structure of all plant tissues, which means that cell is the basic unit and group of cells form plant tissues. Then tissues form organs, organs form organ system, and finally an organism, that is plant. Then Schwann, he was a German zoologist. He studied many types of animal cells. He found that animal cells lack cell wall. So he recognized that apart from cell wall, which was unique to plant cells, it is unique to plant cells. If we compare both animal and plant cells, then cell wall is absent in animal cells while it is present in plant cells. But he said that inside of both plant and animal cells are identical. And together Schleiden and Schwann combined their views because they have the same views of cell as the fundamental unit of living organism. They formulated cell theory. There are three principles of cell theory. What are those principles? Cell is the fundamental unit of structure and function in living organism. The point we have been just discussing since last lecture. All organisms are composed of one or more cells. Either they are unicellular, they are multicellular, prokaryotes, eukaryotes. All of the organisms are composed of one or more cells. Then cells arise from pre-existing cells through cellular division. So there are already existing cells, then they divide to form new cells. Already existing cell is called as parent cell. It divide and form the daughter cells, right? This is cellular division, but we will later study in this chapter. The next topic is validation of cell theory. So cell theory has a validity, right? So the validity of cell theory is proved by something, but what are those? They are the experimental evidences which prove that cell theory is valid. What are those experimental evidences? Number one, if a cell is removed from tissue, it can survive independently for a shorter period of time. This experimental evidence supports the first principle of the cell theory, which is cell is the fundamental unit of structure and function in living things. The basic unit of life must exist or survive independently for a period of time, right? And cell can exist or survive independently for a short period of time if it is removed from the plant tissue. Then nothing smaller than a cell has been found to be able to live independently. Now the question arises, what are the things that are even smaller than a cell? So they are subcellular organelles which are smaller than a cell. And if we see, the subcellular organelles cannot exist independently, they cannot survive independently for any period of time. So they are not the fundamental or basic unit of structure and function in living organisms. Number three is cells cannot grow in sealed and sterile condition. This was the demonstration of Francisco Redi and Louis Pasteur's experiment, that cell cannot grow in sealed conditions and sterile conditions. Those conditions where cell cannot fulfill its requirement to develop, grow, and divide into further new cells, right? This is it for today. In the next lecture, we will discuss the exception of cell theory. It will be part 2 of lecture number 2, and we will discuss exception of cell theory in that lecture. So I hope this lecture is clear to all of you. Thank you.